Each and every week, I am amazed by the internet. Whether you are someone who has worked on an individual trick on Skate for over a year to thread the needle, or whether it's the launch of something big like Marvel Rivals Season 2, which came out this week, or whether
You need to talk about the thing?
yeah, you think I should say that the thing?
Yeah, you should.
But
Yeah.
I really don't
Yeah,
want,
you're gonna need to. They're gonna want you to.
or whether it's the birth of a meme, like something like the chicken jockey.
Hey, you said it.
Are you happy now? Are you really happy
Yeah,
now?
I'm happy now.
But this week, like any other week, is once again a big one. Whether it is the Nintendo versus Trump controversy getting bigger and bigger, we also have the massive amount of marathon news that has come out this week. And trust me, there's a whole block that we're going to be diving into with that, or news regarding games that really haven't been talked about in a while, like Titanfall 3. We have something for everyone because this is the Weekly Reload. Gentlemen, this is the Weekly Reload, and I just wanted to take a moment right at the beginning here to thank you guys for the support on this channel. This show started out as one thing, and we've grown it into a whole channel in and of itself. We are growing things like a TikTok, we are growing things like an Instagram, and all of those social links, which are all linked down below. So if you want to support us over there, we have Slick slaving behind the scenes to do all the crazy editing stuff. He is a champion, and yeah, we just wanted to thank you guys for the support you've shown so far. And if you could, hit the like button, subscribe, do all that stuff that helps out the algorithm. You are just helping promote the channel and promote shows like this one. Now, without further ado, let's dive into the news. So last week we talked about the whole Nintendo versus Trump thing. And well, it's got worse. And I just wanted to quickly explain what exactly is going on here. So basically the way that the tariffs ended up working is China ended up getting 104% tariffs on all of their goods, which is very, very high. And when you have things like the Nintendo Switch or even a PS5 that are predominantly manufactured in China, when the Nintendo Switch comes out and says we want to charge $450 for our product, well, when there's 104% tariff on said product, now that product is $900. And I don't think a lot of people are going to want to pay $900 for a Nintendo Switch. So because of this, even a place like Canada, where I live, the pre-orders in Canada got delayed for the Nintendo Switch 2 as well. Reason being, a lot of the stuff that comes into Canada comes from China, goes into America, therefore the tariff is applied and then goes to Canada. Of course, Canadians don't want to pay that price either, so it's not just Nintendo or PlayStation, it is the entire tech sector that has anything coming out of China that the prices are going to skyrocket. And to be quite honest, this is going to be something that the gaming community, specifically in North America, really has to worry about over the next little while. Another thing that you have to worry about is, just like Nintendo Switch 1, indeed, the game cartridges do taste bad. Now, this week we had one of the fastest growing games that I have seen, at least from an indie developer, in a very long time, and that would be the game known as Schedule 1. Now, not everything has been hunky-dory for Schedule 1 because yes, its meteoric rise has been insane. One thing that has happened is a little bit of controversy, but not because of the material. Oddly, it's actually because they are getting sued for copyright infringement from Dealer Simulator. Yes, they both go into the same kind of content, but you can very clearly see the style and a lot of other things are very different. And I think in the long run, if anything, this controversy and being sued, it's just going to help Schedule 1 in the long run. Now, this weekend, something huge happened, and that is this. So Bungie, the developers behind Halo and Destiny, have announced their new game. It is an extraction shooter, and it is very different than anything we have seen from Bungie before. Now, if you didn't already know, Marathon was an IP put out by Bungie in 1994. Now, it was a single player game, which is actually originally made for Mac and supposed to kind of be Mac's version of Doom, but they have taken the lore from that and adapted it to an extraction shooter. And oddly, they made the story work pretty well. In fact, on Ink Slasher today, I have a story explained video out on Marathon as it is. But further than that, if you want to know things about this game, there is an alpha, a closed alpha, going live on April 23rd, which you have to join their Discord if you want to play. The game is coming out this year on September 23rd, 2025, which is oddly the same day as Borderlands 4. But hey, Bungie is not scared. Now, this is obviously going to be a live service game, and we don't know what the microtransactions or price is going to be in the long run, but they have announced that there's going to be 6 runners, in other words, operators there at launch. We don't know the total number of maps, and they have announced that there is going to be various sorts of contracts, sponsorship missions that you have to do, and various secrets to find throughout the game. And I must say, if it's Bungie doing it, you can probably guess that this one's going to be pretty big and pretty good. I'm at least excited for it. Now, in some quicker news, first of all, we have the return of Elder Scrolls 4. This is one of my favorite games of all times. Oblivion is incredible, and according to Jeff Grubb, it is coming back really soon.
Oblivion is very likely going to shadow drop here pretty soon. It's supposed to come out, I mean, according to some other rumors I've heard, is like April, and it's April. It's April right now, Emma. That's the crazy thing. And it's like, okay, well, when are they going to announce this? Well, I've been told it's going to shadow drop here at any moment this month. So
okay, I thought you were gonna be like at any moment today.
Who knows? I don't know that. I just know it's going to shadow drop here pretty soon.
So yeah, apparently Elder Scrolls 4, the remake of it, the remastered, is coming this April and is going to be shadow dropped quite literally any day. Now, speaking of shadow dropped, let's talk real quickly about GTA 6 and Mafia: The Old Country. Now, both of these games are being released by Take-Two. Take-Two is responsible for GTA, and we haven't seen any trailers for GTA 6. I don't know if you heard about that, but that's what everyone's saying. But they have this other game coming out, and it didn't have a release date before this week. It got leaked on Steam that the release date for Mafia: The Old Country is August 28th, so almost the end of summer. And then the rumor is, after that, end of October, early November is when GTA 6 will be coming. Then, as we talked about last week, they're delaying the marketing for GTA 6 until closer to the launch. So after August 28th is when I truly believe the marketing ramp up truly going to start for GTA 6. So mark that date on your calendar, first of all, for probably a pretty good game. And number 2, GTA hype is going to skyrocket from there. Now, the only other weird thing about that release date is Borderlands 4, because now at the end of August, we would have Mafia: The Old Country being released by Take-Two. And then the end of September, September 23rd, we would have the release of Borderlands 4, another title by Take-Two. And then the end of October or beginning of November, we would have the launch of GTA 6, which is a lot of Take-Two games back to back to back. And they don't want to do what EA did with Titanfall 2 back in the day, where they buried it under a bigger game being Battlefield 1. Now, speaking of Titanfall, the other thing that Jeff Grubb had to say, though, was about Titanfall 3. I don't know if you heard this one, but there was a bunch of leaks and rumors to come out revolving Titanfall 3, Respawn's next so-called game. First of all, it was supposed to be developed on Unreal Engine 5. It was to follow the events of Titanfall 2. There was going to be an extraction shooter based off of it, and it was going to be coming out in 2025. But Jeff Grubb came out and quite literally said, no, it's not coming out at all. And in fact, they're only concepting the next Titanfall game. So I don't know whether the leakers behind Apex Legends leaks are correct, saying Titanfall 3 is coming soon, or Jeff Grubb is right, who is quite frequently right with gaming news, saying no, this isn't happening at all. Now, something that you don't have to wait as long to find out is on the 15th, Baldur's Gate 3 is getting its big patch number 8. So if you're a Baldur's Gate 3 fan, thinking about maybe hopping back in, now is the time. Call of Duty. First thing I wanted to show you guys this week in regards to Call of Duty is the Warzone changes. So someone put together this video here, and it shows the difference between certain areas in Warzone 1 and the current Warzone in Verdansk. And I must say, gameplay wise, this update is brilliant. You can see much more clearly in and out of buildings, even looking into buildings. However, I gotta say, I think the ambiance of the original Verdansk is way cooler. But as we know, it doesn't really work for gameplay, but it looks damn cool. Also, Game Pass subscriptions. So as we know, Xbox now owns Call of Duty. They also own Game Pass, and they said that all of the releases for Call of Duty were going to be the same between PlayStation and Xbox. But now, if you're a Game Pass subscriber, there is a bonus of an in-game bundle that you can only get if you own Game Pass. And speaking of which, there's other Call of Duty games that might be coming to Game Pass very soon. Call of Duty World at War and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. If you go to your Xbox dashboard right now and search games on Game Pass, those two are appearing. Yet we only have had Black Ops 6 on Game Pass so far. It was rumored that the other games were going to be coming, and then we're like, okay, are we going to get like one of them every 6 months? It's very odd, and we're still waiting to hear more news about that. But speaking of Xbox news, we found out about their next showcase, which is going to be on June the 8th. After which, we're going to get an Outer Worlds 2 Direct following right after, so kind of a double header. And that is kind of right around the time every single year where we start to get more and more Call of Duty news. Now, in the more recent Call of Duty news coming out this week, we have a new event, which is the Black Ops Tribute event. This is going to be in Warzone and Black Ops 6, but you actually have to own Black Ops 6 to have access to this event. So obviously they're trying to sell copies of Black Ops 6. The problem with this is that it's just an XP event. It's not like the current event that we have in Warzone. We actually have to go and hunt things down. It's just play the game, get XP, unlock stuff like we've seen so many times before. Now, in new games that have come out this week, the first one is called Blueprints.
Now, this game is fascinating, and quite honestly, I don't exactly know what to say to you guys about this one, but let's break it down like this. So first of all, this is a roguelike game, kind of, where you essentially have a certain amount of steps or things you can do in a given day throughout a mansion. Now, this mansion moves around, the rooms move, and the puzzles inside change. Now, this roguelike game doesn't include any fighting, but it includes puzzles. So essentially, it is a puzzle roguelike game that changes every single day. Now, the weirdest part I haven't even stated yet is the fact that as of right now, this is actually like a Game of the Year contender, as when it dropped, it had like a 91% on OpenCritic, and I think it's sitting at a 90 right now. A game that I don't think a lot of people have played yet, and I think a lot of people are, because guess what? This game is coming in at like 60 plus hours of playtime for a roguelike puzzle game. Basically completely unheard of, and I'm gonna get my hands on this when I have time for a 60-hour game, because I know this is one I would absolutely love, because I love puzzle games.
Speaking of puzzle games though, the other game that came out this week is the Talos Principle Reawakening. You've never played the Talos Principle before and like puzzle games, you need to. I think once again, sitting at like an 88 on OpenCritic. Very good game, and just remastered, reimagined. And then coming out this week, we have Lost Records Blooming Rage Tape 2. So this is the second tape of the Lost Records. If you're into those games, it is coming out this week on April the 15th. Now, this is kind of like the last slower week in regards to releases. After this, we're getting games like Expedition 33, Doom is right around the corner, and maybe even Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remaster, maybe getting Shadow Drop this week. It is a pretty quiet week after all. But for all of that news, there's one thing you're going to want to be doing, and that is hitting that subscribe button, turning notifications on, because guess what? This has been the weekly reload. There's going to be another one the next Sunday, and the next Sunday, and the next Sunday. We're doing shorts, TikToks, and a whole bunch of other stuff. You guys seem to really be enjoying it. So if you do enjoy, hit the like button, subscribe. We appreciate you guys. Love you guys. See you next Sunday. Peace.